Hey, I want to make a video of this, one of my favorite glacier erratics that it's very easy to get to. You can hear it's right near the highway. The highway is over there. The main road is right there. And near it, there's a couple interesting stones like that one. There's that glacier erratic I was talking about that's crushing the quartz stone. And then over here is an interesting location. It's got got like a cornered in rock wall over here. All pretty substantial stones, not too big, but there's some big ones in there. You can see it corners there, goes down there, stops down there. And then I believe, let's see if it starts over here to go up to the stone. There's a bunch of stones inside, so that kind of defeats the purpose of making the stone wall and close here. We already have a bunch of stones still in there. That doesn't seem to make any sense. It's a nice set of stone there. As you can see, right near it, you got they put your drain here. So it looks like this may have connected at one point, but to put this in, they cleared it all out. So you get pretty good sized stone over here. And there's where the corners come back down here, and it continues down there. As you can see, where they're connected. So it's almost like an electrical circuit. It needs to connect to as many stones as possible over the greatest area to pick up a static charge from the earth, or the magnetic field from the earth, something. So here's where the stone wall would have continued up. See, that's a nice sized stone there. And actually, here's where the stone wall comes here, leading right up to that stone. So yep, that's where it would have been. It starts there at that stone when it came down straight. It's probably buried. I've heard these stone walls are buried up to 10 to 20 feet deep. Whether they were standing at that point when there was no soil and all that soil built up to this point, that's another topic to be discussed. But we'll walk right up to this stone. As you can see, the stones aren't really secure, but they're definitely connecting to each other. Seems like that's the main thing. They have to be touching each other to make the contact to do whatever it's supposed to do. So you can see it's climbing up right along the side of the stone, which says glacial erratic. You can see a back view of it. There's nothing supporting it over here but one quartz stone. Let's go check it out. I would estimate this stone to be about 10 feet wide and maybe 15 to 20 feet long. As you can see, it's so big I can't even get it in the picture. It's the back way up, and still it's hard to get it all in. I meant to bring my compass to show you what direction this would be leaning towards, because that would be the one of the clues to this. But check out this stone, how it's just barely holding this thing up, and even some of the rock wall maybe even holding it up right here too. I don't think you could pull out any of those stones. I think there's weight on it. So that really is interesting that people think the stone walls are totally separate from this phenomena, which I think they're directly related, and it's the same people or beings who did this. I recently found out about the Naga people. It's supposed to be small people, but they were able to lift large things for some reason. So here's the rest of the stone wall down here. It just keeps going, and I've followed this all the way down, and it just comes to a stop. And then not too far after that, the main road starts. So it's possible he took some of these stones from the stone wall to do whatever with. But as you can see, it's a pretty substantial wall. I don't know if you saw my last video of the Newport Tower, but as you can see, these stones have no mortar whatsoever. It's all dry laid, but it was just depending on gravity to hold it up, and hoping nobody would try to knock it over. Because these stones, you would have a hard time knocking them over, but it's possible. You know, these are manageable stones, but I've seen stone walls that have 10 to 50 to 100 ton stones stacked on top of each other to make the wall. And I encourage everybody to look up Stonewall, Texas, and explain to me why somebody buried a 12-foot tall wall of stone with steel alloy rings in it directly through the whole town. And that should have something to do with this. And I believe the mound builders are the same people, or at least the descendant of the people who made these structures. So next time I come, I'm gonna wrap some copper wire around the stone. I'll get a close-up of this stone. You see all these stones have been worked. These weren't field stones. They were worked. They were chopped out from the quarry that's across the street. You see the whole huge stack set up. Put the link to the video down below. But as you can see, this stone, you can get completely around it. And it's interesting how most of it's sticking out, and only probably 25 to 15% of it's being crushed. And as you can see, you're really stressing out this bottom stone here. It looks like bedrock stone. So you can get completely around it with some wire, because I want to see what happens. And even this stone here, it's got a point to it. It's actually pointing you as a direction to it, so maybe it's telling you to follow the wall, because it seems to be in direct line with the wall. Yeah, it's real interesting. Let's get a shot of the back side. As you can see here, there's not much support at all. Look at all the weight hanging over here. This should be able to fall over if that stone's not there. See, let's go around the back side. Yeah, it took me a while to find the stones. It's been a long time. Over a year now at least. But this is a real good location because it's easy to get to. And it has the exact setup I want to test. My theory, if that stone is giving off some type of energy, where I can pick some type of field up. So, you know, it seems like they're focusing all this stone wall energy to this one stone here, and then amplifying it maybe with this crushed stone. So it's hard to get a view of this side so big, like I said before, and back way up. So the stone wall comes up, and it's hanging over. The stone wall continues. Now it's interesting to note that not too far is a sheer cliff of stones over here. So maybe they got some stones right out of this little natural quarry right here, because I don't see why they would even mess with this area. They're making the highway way over there. You know, it's not even close. There's no reason why you could blast out over here. So it's pretty interesting ledge, and it goes on all the way to the end of the rock wall. So yeah, we'll take one last look at this from a distance. I'll get one more shot, because I'm going to use this video to really study this stone and maybe pick up some details I haven't seen before. And it's interesting to note too that there seems to be a lot of blueberries around these stones for some reason. Whether the people that made these stones really like blueberries and planted them and they just went wild, or they're just naturally wild. But they're the exact blueberries that I grew up with in New Hampshire. They're the small ones, and they're really flavorful. So we get the picking season coming up in the next month or two. So I'll be out here doing that. Alright, thanks for watching.